My romance with a bicycle began in the dark days of late November. It grows with every passing day, 2.5 miles every day, and this after not riding a bike for more than 60 years. With the changing of the season, the world's grown brighter. So has my attitude. Morning comes earlier too, thanks to Georgia's heat and humidity, and the life or death medicine I take warns me to avoid excessive exposure to intense sunlight. Getting out of my recliner and onto the bike has brought about a major change in mindset from apathy to energy. On the other hand, riding the same half-mile loop 5 times a day, every day, can get to be a bit repetitious. I think it may be time to take this show on the road. No, not that road. Even in a small town like Athens, Georgia, traffic can be brutal. We're lucky. We have a 3.5-mile trail fully paved for people who walk and people who ride. It's the North Oconee River Greenway, stretching from Dudley Park downtown to the Sandy Creek Nature Center, more than 3 miles out into the countryside. This is nice. No bridges in my neighborhood. No creeks either. There's even a landmark of sorts. In the 1980s, when the band REM cut its first album, the back cover featured an abandoned railroad trestle. It's still here. It's been here since the early 1800s. The powers that be are still trying to figure out what to do with it. Higher up, above the tree canopy, there's another former railroad right-of-way. It's now part of a Rails to Trails project that will soon link almost 40 miles of paved walking and biking pathways through Athens and on to connect with other nearby towns. Like a lot of other people, I prefer the old original down below, at least at this time of year. The Greenway is great to ride for an old guy like me. Lots of shade and escape from the Georgia summer sun. Younger people seem to like it too. Also, it's level for the most part. Actually, this whole project is a fine example of being handed lemons and turning them into lemonade. The North Oconee River is right over there somewhere. Most of the year it's just sort of a muddy creek. But when it floods, it really floods, and this entire Greenway bike path is built in its floodplain. How deep does it get when it floods? Well, this is an access way to the utilities or underground sewer. And of course, to get to it, you have to go through a manhole, and the manhole cover is up here. So, if it were flooded, I would be completely underwater. Since the Greenway follows the river upstream, it's logical the overall trend would have to be uphill. An excellent reason for heading out to the other end and riding back toward town. Down we go. It can't be downhill all the way, moving through rolling countryside, but more down than up, at least I think. This is terrific. There's even shade out here. It's nice that they have some benches along the way. You can stop, catch your breath, but really, it did turn out to be on average downhill. On your left. Thank you. A little uphill from time to time, but nothing serious. That could change upon getting back into town, but for now, just ride and enjoy. Honest to God, it lifts the spirit. So it's all well and good that this feels great, but the question arises, does it really mean anything? I thought I'd ask my doctor that when I went in for my quarterly checkup to prove that I'm still on an even keel. So my question to him was, does the patient's attitude really have any impact on the treatment outcome?
I think it does affect them, but maybe not in the way that people think. People that have better attitudes tend to be more compliant. They're more likely to take their medications. They're more likely to show up to their appointments, as opposed to having a positive attitude, having some effect on your actual biology. I think it really, where the impact that you see is just with compliance.
So good attitude is not necessarily a pathway to a cure, but how about exercise?
The exercise one's a little bit trickier because some people's disease prevents them from exercising, and so it's a little hard to... I don't want to have it to where people who can't feel guilty that they can't, because sometimes they just aren't able to. But I think light exercise is always good. It kind of settles you down, allows you to relax and focus on things better.
Beware of false prophets urging you to power your way to health through exercise. It may or may not be for you. In my case, in a limited way, it certainly is beneficial for me. More of the same would probably be more beneficial. That brings us back to the question, where does this lead? Oh no. You can do this, Michael. You can do this.
You can do this. You can do this.
Okay.